Hello, hello, and good evening. It's Wednesday. When you see my face, you know it's Wednesday. It's supposed to be 9. It's 9:15. I apologize. There's something to do, but I'm live, and I hope to see you. Let me see. The last time I totally forgot to check the chat, and I was just talking to to myself. But anyway, just a quick introduction. Let me see. I'm still trying to get the grips of this. Okay, there you go. My name is Andrew. I call myself the email guy because that's the business I'm in. And what do? I help businesses build deeper relationships with their prospects and also their clients through the medium of email. And the thing that is important is because you use email as your communication channel, private communication channel to your prospects and also clients to build that know, like, and trust to send information to them to help them along in their business. Because if you can help them with their business or you show them that you can help them with their business, then your services will be required. All right. So that's how it works. And why I do this, I come on live every Wednesday. The idea is sort of giving back to all of you, all right, who is watching this. And if you're watching on the replay, that's fine too. To help educate the market on the value of email. And then because most of the time when I talk about emails, the first thing they say is, oh, it's spam, right? And there's a reason why people are saying this, and I will go into it. And there's also a question that's tied to this as well. But once you have an appreciation or better appreciation on the power of emails, right? Now, it's not an end all be all, right? There will be the social media is a very powerful tool as well. Your audio, your videos, and all those things. Those are important components of marketing. But it wouldn't be very wise of you if you ignore or basically you leave out email as part of your marketing mix. Right? You all of them actually work together very, very well, and there's a reason for it. Okay, so if you have any questions, like I say, I can't have to answer just to answer your questions. If you have any questions, go to ants.digital/ask. The last time I actually had the long URL, ask me anything, which was so stupid. And it just occurred to me that I could just shorten it and make it us, right? Which what I'm doing now. It sends you to a simple Google form where you fill in your email and then you just fire off with your questions. And what I do is I will receive them, obviously, and I will then prepare the answers for you, on the following week. And like, what I'm going to do with this 3%, hopefully I can finish it within this short period of time. But feel free to send your questions, and I do my level best to answer it. Okay, cool. So if you want to follow me on on social, okay, you see, I'm in email, but I still use social media, and you should too, right? You should use these two. They are very powerful combination. um, Follow me on LinkedIn. I am more active on LinkedIn, except the last few weeks been tied with some delivery stuff that I need to do. But follow me on LinkedIn, and if you want to be notified whenever I post something which is related to email marketing, of course, or even marketing in general, then just click on that bell button, and they'll be notified whenever I post something up. The URL ants.digital/LinkedIn. This is basically a short link that goes to my LinkedIn profile. Okay. You don't have to connect with me if you want to, and you can just basically look around and see what I do, and consume the content that I put up. Okay, all right. So let's go to the first question. This is Aleja Op. Hopefully, I get your name right. For segmentation model, what are the initial steps to begin my segmentation model for an industry? I probably made a mistake in copying and pasting this from the Google form. But generally speaking, let me see. You are trying to what are the best model that you can use to segment your audience, especially if you're in the service industry. Okay. Now you didn't mention exactly what service industry, so it's kind of difficult for me to pinpoint or give you a very tight answer to this. But what I could do is I'll give you something, a model that you can probably work on. Okay, cool, Elijah? All right. So let me see. Hopefully, I've got my my drawing skills up today. Otherwise, you're going to see some really, really ugly doodles. Okay, there you go. All right. So, what is this? Not just not four little tanks, but generally what you have is this is your my mic is getting this is your audience segment. All right. So you want to have, obviously, in any business, you have different buckets of audience and different needs and all those things, especially if you're a service industry. Or for that matter, if you do B2B or, um, even face-to-face kind of business. For example, if you're in insurance industry, some may want, will writing, some may want protection, some may want investment and all those things, right? So generally, those are the segments. So your responsibility as a business, in your case, or working for your clients, is to understand what are audience segment already within their business. Okay. So now you will have an idea. The next thing you want to do is this. This is where you send your initially, right? So if you're starting out, the first you will have this process where maybe 3 times in a month or 4 times in a month, for example, right? Depending on the frequency that you send your email, you want to send an email to everyone. Now, why people say it's spam is because a lot of businesses they just blast to everyone. Okay, and you do it repeatedly, and especially if it's something that is not congruent or something that is not of interest to your audience, for example, then yeah, they're going to complain spam, right? They complain your email as spam. But what you need to do, because if you're starting out, you won't know, right? So you're going to send a few. I call this the few filler emails, right? So it will be a broadcast email, but the difference is in this email, all right? So this is all my broadcast email, right? Sent or maybe over a period of 1 week or 1 month or whatever. Because I know the audience segment, I'm going to have content specifically that would draw or that would cause the audience to either take action, reply, or click, for example. Primarily click is the best way of tracking. If you send content related to this, right, and if they click on this or click on that particular link, right, you would then know through your ESP. Now, most of the ESP now allow you to so-called track links, click links, right, or link clicks. So once you do that, if somebody clicks on the links, you can then bucket them into your audience, right? And the next week, for example, you will send another one that is designed, and each one of these emails that is designed to allow them to, by virtue of their action, they are self-selecting and they are self-identifying themselves with the things they are interested in. Okay, so let me give you an example. Let's say if you're in a tour business or so-called the travel business, right? Now, you may have audience that's interested in visiting Asia. Some are interested in visiting Europe. Some are interested in visiting the African nation or even the Northern American market, okay, or North American countries, let's say. Okay. So in order for you to find out, now you have a list of audience and you're not sure what they're looking for, what they're planning for, especially now, with the year end coming up and holidays and all those things. You will send emails that is related. For example, you may just want to send a travel advisory email as a service to your audience. Remember, you constantly add value to your audience in order not just to sell your stuff, adding value to your audience, allow people to better interact with you. So let's say you have a travel advisory email, and in this email, you have 4 links, right? So if you're interested in, you want to know about Asia or Europe, okay, or Africa, and let's say Northern America, for example, okay, let me do this. So there are 4 links in that email, and says we've just researched, or our research team, and we've just got this latest travel advisory or health advisory or whatever it is that you may be interested in, and it's broken down into, let's say, this segment. Now you are very deliberate in selecting this because it's part of your audience segment, right? So now if I am interested in, let's say, Europe, okay, and I'm I'm planning to, let's say, take my kids off for a holiday in Europe or wherever it is, then obviously I would select this, right? I'm not going to select North America because I don't plan to go there, or even Africa, all right? So by virtue of me clicking this particular link, I have self-identified myself as somebody who potentially could be a potential, could be an audience for your Europe emails, okay? And then through your ESPs, you then add me into this list. Now, why you need to do this regularly once, is to, the idea is you constantly want to filter your audience, right? So even within Europe itself, you can then filter by countries, right? So similarly, the same concept, you send an email, so-called an email blast about Europe to the Europe audience, for example. Okay. Oh, I can't do this. Let me try this. So I can send a blast email to about Europe to the Europe audience only. Now you notice that slowly over time your emails are getting more and more segmented. Okay, but initially you got to build your audience first. So once you do this, then you then filter them further by selecting, let's say, countries. All right, or you can select them by activities. So all this falls back to your business. You got to be very clear of the, if you're not clear of your audience, then it's very difficult for you to do segmentation. Leja, I hope that broad model helps, but generally that's how you do segmentation. Okay, you know what are the things that may trigger them to self-identify, and then you create emails or you write contents or emails related to that, and so that you then sit back and wait. If they click, that means they're interested, and then you go deeper as they go along through the customer journey, eventually to become, to buy something from you. Okay, cool. All right. So I think we've done with this. So done with this. Okay, Amy, you mentioned, I'm reading your emails. So you mentioned that email is your private social network. Why so? Okay. I think some of my live stream I've mentioned about this. If you look at it, all right. Let's look at this model. Can I straighten? Okay, there you go. So this is your social media, and this is your email, right? So let's say from an interaction standpoint. Oh wait, I got it wrong. Okay, anyways, never mind. In email, you have open, you have clicks, right? You have reply. Okay, generally these three things, right? Open rate, click rates, and all those things. In social, the matching activity is, in this case, your open is basically your like, right? Click is click lah, all right? The same. And then reply is basically comment. You notice? So it's not something out of the blue. It's not something unusual, but generally in all this, every form of marketing or communication, whether it's social emails, there are some perils. Sorry. So when somebody opens the email, it's as good as somebody liking it, right? Somebody just reading, they may or may not read it, or they just open the email. But what you want is you want to aim for this. You want to aim for clicks. You want to aim for comments. In social media, that's what you do, right? This is your engagement. And if you do organic, it helps you, to get more audience. For example, the algorithm will do such a way that, they will promote it to more people, which is related or which has similarities to the audience that, engage with you. Whereas in email, open is one thing. Open is as good as like, but what you want is for them to click, right? So back to, Alija's so-called the question earlier. By virtue of clicking, we can then track and know what are the action they took. All right. If I have a YouTube video related to, let's say, email marketing, and I have a YouTube video related to, let's say, Facebook ads, and one on, let's say, website design. By virtue of knowing who actually watched this video, but you have to click obviously from your email in order to watch this video, then I would know that this audience, or they may have an interest in all three, or they may have an interest in one or maybe two of them. And then I can then, through segmentation, I can then write content related to the audience. Now your communication is being very direct. Now, why I say is social media is, in this case, email is your private social media, is because whatever you do on social is similar to whatever you do on email. Okay. Only thing is you probably can't convey video, right? But you're hosting a video on YouTube, you can just put a link and send to them. That's equally the same, right? But the key difference is this is open. Anybody who happens to come across your social media channel, they will see your content, right? And this is closed because only those people who are subscribed to your list, for example, will get emails. You're not going to send to any random people, right? You probably wouldn't have their email address, by the way, anyway. So, number one. Number two is your content in social tend to be general because you're talking to, you don't know who you're talking to, right? You may have an idea or people will follow you, but you don't know. So, your content generally has to be general. And this one, you can be a bit more specific, right? And because of segmentation, you can be ultra specific, right? So somebody who's interested in email and somebody who's interested in Facebook, I'm not going to send anything related to emails to the Facebook guys, right? So I can be very specific with regards to the content I put up, whereas in social is general. So these two are tied together in a sense that you use social because it's open to draw people who may have an interest in what you do. In my case, for example, let's say in the field of email marketing, right? People who may want to know more would be interested to either join my list or either get in touch with me. Okay. And once they're in here, I can then this becomes my private community already. Okay, let me write this better before I start scribbling instead of writing. Right? So that's why, Amy, I consider email as your private social network, right? Even in terms of your content, you don't have to um, you don't have to be you don't need to be a very good writer. Neither do you need to write very, very long emails, right? The key thing is what value do you have for your audience? Okay. Now, value could be in terms of information, could be in terms of guides, could be in terms of updates, right? Could be in terms of something you sell and offer. It's also something of value because you are allowing or giving them an opportunity to work with you, okay? To engage your services, to help them relieve their whatever specific pain they have that you happen to be able to solve, right? And by virtue of that, you would only send when you have this component here. So if you don't have anything, don't write. It's fine. It's okay. I've gone on cases where I've not written for about a week for my audience. That's fine because I don't have something that either I can offer or I don't have something important that I can do. So I'm going to stay out of their inbox, right? But the thing is, if you can at the very least send once a week, which is what I do if I'm really, 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 really busy, then I'll send once a week. But I will make sure that the information contained or the email contained has of some value to them, right? If I don't have any offer, then fine. Okay. So this is what you do in social anyways, right? If you have nothing to write, you don't post. Okay. So that's why to me, email is your private social channel because it's your community. It's your opportunity for you to communicate with them. Okay. So, with that, Amy, I hope I've answered your question. Any other comments? If you have any comments or if you have any questions you may want to ask on this live stream, you can, or otherwise, you can submit your questions through the form, right? Which is this one. Where is it? Here. Okay. Ants.digital /ask, file in your questions and I'll answer them in the following week. So the last one for tonight is, let me see, guessing. What should I be looking for in selecting an email service provider or ESP? Okay. I think I've answered this before, but anyway, since I picked up, why not just um, a few features. Generally, all email, those who offer to to do email marketing, or so-called not email marketing, but to as an email service providers, there's very little difference. They're generally, otherwise they'll be out of business anyways, right? Okay, so in terms of deliverability and all those things, um, you're not like sending a million emails a day, right? So that's fine. You and I probably send what, 1,000, 2,000 emails a day. You don't have to go to that level where you be ultra concerned about deliverability and all those things. Generally, they do a good job. Okay. Otherwise, like I say, they'll be out of business. But what you want to look for is this. Um, Obviously, you want to look for them to be able to give you automation features. All right. So automation features, remember, like we talk about in Alija's case, for example, in do segmentation, it is basically based on triggers or actions taken by your audience. For example, let's say somebody joins your email list, for example. So that's a trigger, right? They join your list, to join your list. Okay. And what you do is once they do that, you then schedule an automation to send a series of emails, maybe, day one, and then maybe day three, and then maybe day seven, for example. Okay. So this automation allows you to save time because you just write them once. And whenever somebody takes action or triggered this particular action, then this email will be sent out to them. Right. And you can do many, many things. When you download your lead magnet, for example, you can write a series of automation. So automation is an important component. Number two is now I think most of them now allow for you to do landing pages. Now, landing pages generally it's a mini website, okay? For the email service provider is the virtual, but they provide landing pages because so that they can host their forms. Okay, assuming if you don't have a website, they can actually provide this service where you can host your form to collect emails. Because that's how you're going to grow your list. Okay, so let's say you make a post on social media and say, "Hey, I've just got, 9 tips on how to thrive in 2023." Right? In 24 days, we're going to finish the horrible 2022, and if you're interested, click on this link, and they click on this link, it goes to this particular landing page, and within this landing page, obviously, you would have, a form that you can collect their name or emails, and once they sign up, you then send them the information. Right? So landing page is important. What else? Open automation landing page. Oh, if you're starting out, look for those that provides you between, let's say, 1,000 to 2,000 free emails, or 2,000 so-called subscribers, right? So generally, they provide this service for free, right? And you can actually use this, so you can easily start off and test, whether their interface, whether it's easy for you to craft the emails, whether it's easy for you to design your automation. The only way to know is to actually use it. All right. So, like for example, recently I just bought a service, a subscription from this Spanish ESP. I'm halfway through, and later, when I have time, if you're on my list, I will send you a summary of what I feel about this new service and what are the advantages and all those things. Because it was on sale, it was a lifetime deal, and I thought, why not? Okay. I don't have to worry about subscription and all those things. Most email service providers actually charge you monthly subscription, but if you're starting out, look for those that allows you to start off for free for between 1 to 2,000 email lists that you can send, and you get the feel of it you know. And for them, it's this: once you reach 2,000, it's very, very difficult for you to move out, right? So the stickiness factor is there because you've built your automation, you've done your custom segmentation, for example, and different ESPs operate, differently. Some they use tags, some they use groups, for example, to do segmentation. And the last thing you want is to spend another day or two or probably a week when you do migration to actually rebuild the whole thing again. So for them, that's the advantage. That's what they're going to do in order to get you hooked on. That's why they're offering you the free service, right? But for you is you get to try it out, right? And you know whether it's suitable for not, whether you have all these three. So automation, landing page, and the free service. Generally, these are the three things that you should be looking for. Don't worry about the brands. Like I say, if they're in business long enough, they'll be okay. Otherwise, they won't be, because the infrastructure costs a lot of money to do this. It's not easy, so you know they have to be somebody in order to provide this service to you. Okay, Kesing, I hope this is useful. If not, you're free to. You've got my. You can submit further questions on your forms, and I would answer them as usual. Okay. Um, I think that's about it. Okay, last one. You probably heard this, but I've in the past 2 years of doing this, I also realized that, like I say, marketing is always integrated. Okay. You don't just do emails because it's tied to, for example, you can't use email to just grow your list. You need to use your socials. You may need to run some ads, for example, right? Um, to in order to grow your email list, and from there, that's how you can then nurture your audience. Most of them, when they join, for example, they will likely be cold audience, and you use email to nurture them, right? And what do you do when you nurture them and you want to make an offer? You send them to a website or a landing page, okay? And then you have other integration or that is required. So that's why I came up with this idea of the one campaign challenge. The idea is to work with businesses who may want to think about launching a campaign, and launching a campaign is not that straightforward, right? There are a lot of things to worry about: your traffic generation, your conversions, for example, and all those things. Okay, so I'm offering this service to work with you if you're interested. If you have a campaign that you want to launch, especially during the festive season now, but you want to do it somebody to actually manage the entire process. So what I do is I will help you with writing the ads copy, because that's where the generation or traffic comes in. And then you have your landing pages, right? The copy for your landing pages. If somebody to design it, fine. I'll just write the copy for the landing pages. And from there, you have your email sequences tied to this. When they join or when they did an action on your page, when they buy something, what can you do? Can you upsell them, or can you direct them to other new offers, for example? And obviously, I would also work with you on writing the copy or building some of the contents for your social media posts. So you notice now it is almost end to end. And why is to drive the success of your campaign, right? You can't just rely on ads alone. You can't just rely on email alone. You need to rely on these few or all of them as much as possible so that your campaign becomes successful. So you're interested, you can go to this website. All right, this is a landing page, right? And look at the details, and then there's a link that you allow you to actually book a call with me, and I have to see whether I can actually help you or not, right? So we can have this conversation, and then we see, and we take it from there. Okay, so with that, it is slightly past 30 minutes. Thank you so much for your time. And if you're watching this replay, um, send a message. Let me know that what you think about this and what are the things that I can improve in my Ask Me Anything sessions. I'm doing this for you, okay? And if you find it useful, just send me a ping or send me a note. All right? Okay. So with that, thank you so much. Last call. If you have questions, right? If you have questions, go to this URL, ants.digital/ask or / I don't know, /ask, and fill in your questions. And I'll see you again next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Hopefully. All right. Okay. Good night and have a good evening.